We got some Detroit Lions talk coming up with the dean of all Lion beat writers, the man that invented beat writing. It's Mike O'Hara joining us on the hotline right now. Hey, Mo, welcome in.
Well, good. Thanks for having me. I'm just getting out here outside so I don't bother anybody. Yeah, the dean, I don't know about that. Maybe Doom, but not Dean.
You're bothering us. You know, that's okay, but thanks for coming on. Hey, your main man, Terry Foster, didn't you bring him up into business, Mo?
Well, this is kind of interesting because I have a connection to all three of you people, and it's I feel like I'm in a reunion. I think we kind of get forgotten in the promotions of the Renaissance of that show.
We do.
Terry Foster, I knew him when he was 15 or 16 years old. The love of my life at the time, Katie Shaw, was working there. I knew his mother, Roxanne. I became friends with her, and then Terry went on to do great things with the Detroit Free Press, and then the Detroit News, really a great asset to journalism as a whole. And Braylon Edwards, I don't even know he remembers this, but he was at the Lions either for his rookie visit or free agent visit. I'm not sure which, but I asked him where he lived, and he said on Briarcliff Street in Detroit.
Yes, sir.
I live one street over.
On Renfrew, I think.
No, I live on Litchfield. And
Litchfield.
My question for you, though. My question for you, though, is you had 16 touchdown catches in 2007. The Detroit Lions need a wide receiver. Why don't you get to the gym and get out here and make a few $1 million?
I'm telling you, I'm in some bit of shape right now. I might be able to go out there and give you 8 plays a game. I can do 2 a quarter.
eight plays a game. If you get to the end zone, make it 6. I don't care.
There you go.
We need him here, Mo. We can't afford to let him go.
But I want to be his agent.
I don't blame you.
You know what?
I get a piece.
If I go that route, Mike, you definitely would be the agent. You will negotiate that deal.
Get that 10%.
Sounds good to me.
Hey,
Mo, anyway, hail to the Green Acres neighborhood.
Bring us up to date on these Lions, man. Beat up, beyond beat up. I mean, who's even starting anymore on this team? They get the Cincinnati Bengals this week. What do you expect out of this game?
Well, I think all the games are tough. They're tough enough to begin with, no matter who's playing who, whether it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, versus the Cowboys or whatever. It really is. It's a tough game. And Braylon can tell you that. It's never take anything for granted. But it's tougher still when you're not playing with your starters, and it's tougher even still when you're playing backups to backups. And that's been the case, really, at wide receiver. Understand that, Braylon, at wide receiver. That's been the case, and it's also the case been in the defensive backfield. And look, there are two in this era of sports. There are two position groups that really can change a game for you. One is the secondary, where they're up against it with the rules, and then the other side of it is wide receivers with the rules. It's almost impossible to touch those guys until they catch the ball, or just the way the rules are to protect them. So the Detroit Lions are kind of hurting in both of those areas right now.
Yeah, Mike, coming through, and you talk about the team is hurting in those areas. You just talk about in the beginning of the season period, even before the injuries, they were hurting in a lot of areas. Wide receiver being one of them. But Dan Campbell talked about wanting to change the identity of this team. He talked about wanting to change the culture, change the identity of the Detroit Lions. Well, one thing that hasn't changed, and one thing that has always been the Detroit Lions' Achilles heel, is slow starts. The Lions have always traditionally started off a game slow, and that has not changed this year. If you look at the Lions right now, they are averaging 6 points in the first half through 5 games this season. How do the Lions get on track and start fast? How do they change it up a little bit and kind of maybe do somewhat like they did in that Green Bay game?
Yeah, I agree with that. Really, that's been a problem for them. It's not just that, but they've had what I call stall-outs. So Green Bay was just the reverse of what you're talking about. They had a 17-14 lead at the end of the first half. They never got another sniff. They got beat. I think it was 35-17. I think was the final score. Couldn't score again, and that's happened to them time and time again. Starting in the opener against the San Francisco 49ers, it was 41-13. They end up losing 41-33. They get 2 late touchdowns and a couple of 2-point conversions late in the fourth quarter. But you're right. It really changes the way you play when you're playing from behind. It really does. Sometimes you can make a run of it like the Lions did 3 weeks ago against the Ravens, only to lose on not a franchise, but a National Football League record 66-yard field goal. And then just last week in Minnesota, just another heartbreaker get the lead with 37 seconds to go, score 11 points there in the last 2 minutes, and then out comes the kicker, a 54-yarder, big goal, game over. So you're right, exactly. But I think just to add to what you're saying, and you're 100% right, you've got to score and keep scoring. Now, it sounds easier than it is, but you've got to be threatening from the beginning of the game until the end, because it changes the game when you're not.
Yeah.
Mike O'Hara joins us, DetroitLions.com. Of course, longtime Detroit Lions beat writer, Terry Foster.
Yeah, Mike, what's going to happen first? Lions victory or December?
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
It's tough.
I'll say a Lions victory. In fact, I think they've got a good shot against the Bengals this week. I really do. The
Me
Bengals
too.
are 3-2, and they're building a team that looks to me like a slow build. It really does. They were 2-14 in Zach Taylor's first season, and then 4-11-1. And I know they're 3-2, and one of their wins was over the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they don't look to me like a team that's on the fast track to turn it around. But I like the Lions Sunday. I don't love them. I do. Look, I'd like to bet Braylon's money on this game, but
Mike ass.
But I don't think I would bet my own. But I like him in this game. I really do.
So, Mike, you're not calling it the lock of the millennial, are you? Or the millennium?
No, not quite yet. Matter of fact, I think Terry prompted me into doing this one time. My lock of the millennium was when I had an absolute thought it was a lock, and one year my lock of the millennium lost. So the next week I had a fiscal lock of the millennium, and another one the next week. So I can change time when I want to.
Of course you could.
Hey, Mike, you see Dan Campbell's reaction. You see his response at the end of the game this past week in the loss to Minnesota. You saw the emotion that poured through him.
Yep.
And then you see DeAndre Swift's, his emotions as well. Talk about Dan Campbell's emotion, and tell me, do you think that's something that can rally a team, or do you think that's something that's just overdone? What do you think about it? What do you make of that?
I don't think it's overdone, and I write a weekly column for DetroitLions.com. It's our website, and it's called What We Learned. And I think one thing we've learned, and I think I knew this before, but what you saw from Dan Campbell on Monday in his post-game press conference, that was the real Dan Campbell. It really was. What you saw Monday at his press conference at 2:15 p.m., where he started with a statement, not a prepared statement, but he just talked about the game, and he was methodical, and he was in control and all that. That's the real Dan Campbell too. He's not. He is what he is, and when he's in front of that team, when he's in front of the mic, you're getting the real thing. You're getting what he really is for that moment. And I think it's appropriate. I really do. I think it's appropriate behavior. It's not staged. It's not somebody holding a cue card for him. Now you cheer up, things like that. He's telling you what he feels at the moment, and at that press conference, it's well thought out. And honestly, if you listen to what he had to say in the locker room at the podium after the game Sunday, that was exactly it too. I really enjoy listening to him. Enjoy being around him.
Yeah, Mike, there's another layer to this I'd like to introduce. I've talked to a number of
Sure.
Lion ex-players, and they said that if you ask anybody in the league, is the Lions their dream job, they're going to tell you no. But for Dan Campbell, what they were trying to solicit is get an ex-player or someone within the organization as head coach. This is their dream job. And they said that Dan Campbell, this is his dream job. And you can't find anybody else in the league who would say that. And that's why we saw the emotion. That's why he cares. And that's why they say he's not doing this for a paycheck. They think that other guys get job. Matt Millen and other guys got the job. So if they can turn the Lions around, then they are going to be viewed around the league as these real big difference makers. But for a guy like Dan Campbell, he wants to turn the Lions around because he loves the Lions, and that's the difference.
Well, that's part of it, Terry. That's a good point by you. Look, I remember him from his, I think he played 11 years in the league. Just a tough guy. I mean, if you look at him, you see him in his interviews, his post-game interviews, and the other stuff he does during the week. You talk about a guy who's built, man. He's got shoulders. And he was a tough ball player. his last 3 years in the league, 2006, 7, and 8, were with the Detroit Lions. And I remember him as a player now. He had a pretty good 2006 season under Rod Marinelli, another tough guy, believe me. And then it was hurt the last 2 years. In fact, he only played the opening game in 2008, which is pretty common in those days. It still is. The guy's out for the season. They let him go home and do their rehab at home and just check in from time to time once they've been put on injured reserve. But yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying about this being his job, because I think it's his kind of job too. Look, he's had a really good run as an assistant coach the last 5 or 6 years with the New Orleans Saints, and when he took that job, their head coach down there told him, "Look, you take this job because you just had the interim job at Miami. I will teach you how to be a head coach." And you can see a lot of things that he's learned on the way up the ladder to be a head coach.
Mike, last question before we let you go. You've been around for plenty of coaches, including the great Darryl Rogers. What's a guy got to do to get fired around here? Have you ever seen a coach react the way Dan Campbell did?
Well, first of all, I just want to clear up one thing about it. I think there was a flaw in the 5 of us when Darryl made that statement. And what he really meant was, it's really been misconstrued. What he really meant was how gracious William Clay Ford was with his head coaches. He didn't want to get fired. He wanted to keep coaching, which he did for another year before he got let go. What was the other part of your question, Tommy, before I set you straight on that?
Thank you for setting me straight.
Get him straight.
Have you ever seen a coach in your days react like Dan Campbell did on Sunday?
Yeah, in basketball, Dick Vitale after practice.
Good point. Good point.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. But when you talk about dream coaches, by the way, look, Jim Caldwell was really a respected man when the Detroit Lions hired him. I don't know if it was coaching is his dream job. I don't think it matters, where he is now. When you talk about a former player becoming head coach of the Detroit Lions, you add another element to it. But guys like Jim Caldwell, coaching itself is their dream job wherever they land. So I don't think let's not sell people like that short, because I'll tell you one thing: he did change the culture here. He really did after taking over, the job, what had transpired the 4 or 5 years before that. Caldwell really made a difference, and I'll tell you what, he was beloved in this building.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, Mo, thanks a lot, man. Continued success. Keep us posted, and we'll check back with you. Good luck the rest of the season. We'll see you Sunday.
All right, guys. Hey, good being with the three of you. Really appreciated it.
Hey, it's our pleasure,
a lot,
man.
Mike.
Mike O'Hara, DetroitLions.com, the dean.
Yeah, that's the only problem talking with Michael Hara. He clears up the history. Now, I like it the other way, where Darryl Rogers was just pissed off and said, "What's a guy got to do to get fired around here?"
Isn't that great?
Mike was actually here, so he puts it in perspective, so that's great.
Yeah, we got to get to a break right now, but let's come back and talk about what he said. Let's touch on that and kind of break that down, what he's talking about, the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell. This is Armani Network's Woodward Sports Network, The Bottom Line.